making super easy protein blueberry bagels today. These are made with only 3 main ingredients plus a couple add-ins. So in my bowl, I have 1 cup of Greek yogurt. I just use this organic plain Greek yogurt. Next, I'm adding in 1/2 cup of almond flour. Make sure I get it all out of the cup. I use this one from Kirkland from Costco. I think it's a really good deal for almond flour. And then for our last main ingredient, I'm gonna add in 1/2 cup of this all-purpose flour. So I'm using organic all-purpose flour. I know most of my recipes are usually gluten-free, but for these, I feel like they need a little bit of regular flour. You could try using gluten-free all-purpose flour though. Next, we're gonna add in 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So these are the little add-ins that I'm not counting as a main ingredient. A pinch of salt. And we are just gonna knead this all together until we get a dough consistency. So we have 1 more add-in to add in once the dough is ready. So just give this a good mix. These are lower carb, obviously much lower carb than a regular bagel because we're using part almond flour and just a little bit of regular flour. And these are also higher protein thanks to the Greek yogurt and the almond flour. So keep mixing until everything is fully combined. Okay, once your dough looks like this, we are gonna take a 1/3 cup of frozen blueberries. You can use frozen or fresh, it doesn't really matter. And we are just gonna mix these in. They're also gonna kind of make our blueberry bagels blue, which I think will be pretty. Okay, give that a good mix. Okay, now I'm gonna take a little bit more flour and I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle it onto my countertop, spread it out so that our dough doesn't stick. And we are just gonna transfer this right onto the counter. Okay, I'm just gonna gently roll this into a ball. It doesn't need to be perfect because we're gonna be separating it anyway. So next we're gonna separate this into 4 dough balls. 1, 2, and then separate into 4. Okay, the dough is a little sticky and that's okay, that's how it's supposed to be, but I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit more flour on top and coat my hands in a little bit of flour, and that should help. So now we're gonna take each dough ball and roll it into a ball. This time we want it to be a little bit more uniform than our large dough ball. So that looks good, and we'll repeat this with each dough ball. Get a little more extra flour. I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit of a messy recipe, but I think it's going to be worth it. So now we'll take this one. Okay, and then rolling our last dough ball into a ball. It helps if you rinse your hands in between each one and then recoat in flour. I know it's an extra step, but it does help. So now we're just gonna slightly flatten these, like so. And then we're just gonna poke a hole into the center so that they look like this. So I don't know about you guys, but if I'm making a recipe that is gonna be really delicious and healthy, I don't mind a little bit of a mess. So these better be good. Okay, for our next step, we are gonna transfer our bagels onto a parchment paper lined tray. I have actually my air fryer preheated to 350. My oven has an air fryer setting, so I am just using that. But you could obviously use a regular air fryer, or if you don't have an air fryer, just use your oven. Okay, for our last step for our easy high protein blueberry bagels, you're gonna take an egg wash. So you can just take 1 egg and scramble it in a bowl, or you can use egg whites. I happen to have some leftover egg whites, so I'm just doing egg whites. And I have a little brush, and I'm just going to gently brush the top of each one. And this is gonna give them that nice, classic, shiny bagel look. So just do this on each bagel, And then we're gonna stick them in the oven or air fryer. And I'm really excited to try them out. I love blueberry bagels. Let me know in the comments what you would top your blueberry bagel with. I still am undecided on what I'm gonna top mine with, but these are gonna go into the oven or the air fryer at 350 for about 30-ish minutes, I'm guessing, but I'll let you know exactly once we take them out. But we're gonna start with 30 minutes. All right, into the oven, and we will check back soon. All right, it's been like 23-ish minutes. The timing will all kind of depend on your oven or your air fryer, so keep a good eye on them, but this is what they are looking like, which looks perfect. So we're gonna let these cool completely before cutting into them because they still will take a little bit of time to set in the center, and then we'll try them out. Okay, our bagels have cooled, so it is the moment of truth. I'm gonna slice into one. Oh my gosh, look at how good that looks. With the blueberries, I am so excited to try this out. I cannot get over how much these look like an actual bagel, but super high in protein, lower carb, a lot healthier than a typical bagel. So I think I'm gonna keep it simple today and just add some butter on top. So I have my blueberry bagel. We're gonna spread some butter on top. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what you would top yours with. I feel like cream cheese would also be a good idea. The moment I have been waiting for, let's do a taste test. I want to get a bite that has a good amount of blueberry. It's so good. It tastes like a bagel that I would get at a bagel shop. It's obviously a little bit more thin, but this is amazing. This is definitely going to be one of my new go-to breakfasts. I'm also going to try some different flavors, I think, like maybe a cinnamon sugar or an everything bagel, but this is delicious, so easy to make, so healthy. It was worth the little bit of mess we made. So let me know in the comments if you'll try these 3-ingredient, high protein blueberry bagels.